Jeff with Gear Report. Welcome to the April 3rd edition of This Week at Gear Report. Please pardon a couple minute delay there. We had some operator error getting started today, and I'm going to take credit for that. So my bad. I forgot to send the invitations out to all of the panelists. So thank you, Trey at Ghost Tactical, for sending me a note, and Chris at Clover Tac both sent me notes saying, "Are you sending links out for the broadcast?" So I just got those out. I expect that we're going to have some people strolling in a little bit late because I screwed up and didn't get the links out to them. So bear with us as we get started. We'll give a couple minutes for people to show up. I saw that the notification just went out for YouTube that the stream has started. And, before that even happened, Gun Loving Grandpa was there in the chat saying hey to everyone. So, Buck, it's good to have you. Thanks for showing up. And why don't we go ahead and get Ghost and Clover. They're already here on the screen with us. So you guys want to say hi, Ghost and then Clover, and maybe we'll get some more people to show up.
Hey, Trey from Ghost Tactical. Thanks for having me, bud.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for reminding me that I have to send invitations if I want people to be able to join.
Hey, everybody. It's Chris from Clover Tac. And, yeah, amateur hour up in here, man. Amateur hour. But that's okay.
It is. Well, every Friday, for at least while people are sequestered, we're doing this.
Hey,
so that means
it would not feel like home if it wasn't amateur hour.
Well, yeah. But I figure, every Friday at 8 o'clock, we'll just call that amateur hour because that's when we're doing this.
There you go.
Yeah. So while we are waiting and giving a chance for some other people to join us, how is life for you guys? You guys hanging in there, able to get out and do things, or are you pretty much stuck in your houses? What's happening in your neighborhoods?
I'm pretty much, I could go and do a little bit. There's several counties around here I think they went a little overboard with stuff. They're enforcing the governor's order or whatever, about anything being non-essential. And then anything that's essential, some of these counties are going a little further and put out declarations that any of these places that are open there can't be but one family member. They're limiting the number of people in the store, and there can't be but one family member. So that begs the question, and that's why there's some controversy swirling around that right now. What if you're a single parent with small children? How do you go buy your necessities and your groceries? There's no daycares open. How do you do that?
Even if there were, that would be an obvious, social distancing contamination issue.
Right.
That would completely undo what we're trying to do by keeping family units sequestered.
I sort of see the individual stores, and my wife probably will have some more information on that later. I know she went into one of those counties tonight to do some grocery shopping. So I'm going to pick her brain about how it's, maybe she asked some questions and see how it's working. But I've got to figure individual stores have some type of exception or whatever for situations like that, because if they don't, I see some lawsuits stemming from that. I don't see how, I get the whole protection order and do what you can, but at some point you're crossing a line, and people can't go in a situation like that, can't go to get groceries and life-sustaining items, then that's grounds for a lawsuit, in my opinion. And the suit will fall on the county because they're the one that made that order or declaration or whatever it was. So I think they may be thinking twice at this point about what they've done.
So do you think that that legal action is a bigger concern than people just taking matters into their own hands?
As far as what?
Physical altercations are worse because of people saying, well, no, I got to feed my family. You're not going to keep me out of the store.
Oh, I mean, I would definitely argue it with them if it was me. I'm not in that situation, so I don't have to worry about it. But I would definitely argue with them, and I wouldn't get physical or anything like that. But I mean, if they stuck to their guns and that thing, and I had small children, I think I would be calling me up a lawyer that evening or the following day.
Oh my goodness. Well, there's trouble. Wow. All right. So G23 pops in, says, "Hey y'all!" Right as TJ joins us, we've been taking a little slow getting started because I screwed up and didn't send the links out on time. So, what did you do to your Gear Report shirt?
Looks like bird dung.
Oh my goodness.
My work shirt.
All right. Hey, at least you're repping it. That's good.
Hey,
Jeff, I didn't want you to
day.
go by yourself in the kit, so I went and found like my secondary carrier, and I put my carry on for you.
You don't appear to be fully kitted.
No, I can't. I don't know where my kit is. I don't know where it is. It might be in my truck. I don't know. I honestly don't know where my.
Is your tactical toilet paper around back, or is it? It must be on the other one.
I actually have a another carrier that I did for fun.
Yeah.
That I had a bottle of Lysol, I think of toilet paper, and some hand sanitizers in my mag pouches. It was pretty funny. If I could, I should have gotten that one, but I didn't.
Yeah. Well, I thought it'd be fun. Reed showed up with his Hawaiian shirt last week. I said, I'm going to go with the silk Hawaiian shirt, and then take it a step further, and go ahead.
Why not? Why not?
Well, why not? And I needed to talk about this anyway. So.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll save that for a later part when we talk about upcoming reviews. But yeah, I mean, I'm kitted out pretty good. I got my my tactical hand sanitizer. Yeah,
yes,
pretty cool.
Do. Good.
Oh, and I think they took the one that had here it is. Yeah, it lights up. Look at that. It's a mermaid, by the way. It lights up.
Why wouldn't it be?
Decked out. Yeah, tactical Purell right there. All right. Well, TJ, I'm glad you could make it.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. So, quick rundown. Why don't we go ahead and dive into new reviews published this week are a little bit lighter than the prior week. So, I'm going to share the screen here, and we can just real quick talk about. All right, which one do I need? I need to go to. Well, I can go just to a Chrome tab, and we'll go to Gear Report and share. So you can do it that way. Awesome. I am learning new things every day. So last week we were the 27th. So we already saw the 3V Gear Velux backpack. On the 26th was the Peltor Tactical 500 Bluetooth headset. We talked about those. We talked about the Streamlight Stinger because that was the 26th. The Arkin Optics EP4 scope review. If you haven't checked that review out, you have any interest in optics for beyond like 100 yards, there are a lot of people that get a scope. Oh, just give me the 3-9 that's behind the counter at Walmart for $52, and they're never going to shoot more than 75 yards, behind their house anyway. So no big deal. But if you're doing any kind of increased distance beyond that, or you're going to shoot at sun up or sun down, when you're right at the beginning or end of shooting light for hunting, and you need better optics, then finding something in a good price range that has the good Japanese ED glass is pretty difficult. And we've seen some pretty good options. Caleb and I have been big fans of Lucid Optics and a few of their options. Mac at Double Tap Shooting, who's been contributing to Gear Report a bit, actually went out and purchased an Arkin Optics EP4 scope, and he's very, very complimentary of that scope in the review. I mean, I looked at it and thought, I don't know, brand new brand that I've never heard of. I think I'm going to give them a year or two, see if they're still around. And after reading the review, I may have to go buy one. So look like a pretty good scope. Caleb finally got the review from Hell done. The PSA 224 Valkyrie rifle had an issue with the twist rate of the barrel. It was one of the very early ones produced by Palmetto.
You're kidding.
It had a 7 to 1 twist, and they were having some stabilization issues with projectiles with that twist. So they sent him a 6.5 to 1 barrel, and he was shooting getting regular hits at 800 yards and making some not completely regular, but making hits at 1,000 before he ran out of light and ammo. When he finally got to stretch that one out. So for what those cost, that looks like a pretty smoking deal on a rifle that'll have some distance to it.
Yeah, my only, and it's not with this rifle, it's just with the 224 Valkyrie to begin with, is, this was the 223 basically that could reach out to 1,000 yards. That's what it was hyped out to be. The problem with it is that no one, even 2 years later, is able to solidify a decent twist rate to where you can consistently hit at 1,000 yards. If you're planning this thing to beat 1,000-yard 22, basically, then how can we be 2 years into this process and still not have a solidified twist rate? I mean, I've heard from 1 to 6 to 1 to 9, but even at 6.5. You're saying he can hit at 1,000, but he's not consistently, and that's not the rifle. That's the projectile. That's the ballistics of that bullet, and that's what scares me about the 224 Valkyrie.
Now, does he talk about the ammo he used in there at all?
He does, yeah, and the ammo was fairly early as well, and that's where this rifle's back. It's beside me here at Gear-Report HQ again. And I think I'm going to reach back out to Federal. So this was some Federal 75 grain full metal jacket, 90 grain fusion, which is their soft point hunting ammo, and then a 90 grain match. All of those were right after it came out. They sent me a really big box, couple boxes actually, of different types. Those 3 different types. One of the things that Caleb uncovered while he was waiting on, he had some access to a long distance range issues to get this review done, and then had to get the barrel taken care of. While he was waiting on that, he had found some information that that Federal has tweaked their loads as well. So maybe maybe I'll get some, whatever the latest recipe they're using is. Maybe I'll get some ammo from the new batches and get out and see what kind of results I get with them.
What I find interesting about the whole 224 Valkyrie thing is I've got a 223, 24-inch barrel. It is AR platform, and it's a 1 in 7 twist, which is what they had originally thought they were going to use for the Valkyrie. Right. And I throw 90 grain fine all day long out of that. And I've even got some that I've never seen any more of these projectiles. I've got some 100 grain. Wow. Or at the time, I'd never seen any more. Supposedly they were off contract. Black Hills built them, was looking for some type of contract, built them, and I think Midway USA soaked them up or something and then liquidated them. But and I've loaded even a few of those 100 grain up, and I don't have a problem. Now, that being said, I'm also not pushing, 800 and 1,000 yards with the thing either. But, right. Out to a couple of 100 yards, I'm not having issues.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that the Valkyrie's issues are up to 400 or 500 yards. I think that it's that 750 to 1,000, which is what they touted this was going to be the game-changing reason for the Valkyrie was. And like I said, I mean, I think 500 in it, it's probably as good as anything. But I mean, if you're going to talk about and boasting that it's going to be that 750 to 1,000 yard projectile, to 22 diameter, whatever, let's get it there. And like I said, I mean, I get you're always going to have issues, but we're 2 years into this thing now, and it's almost to the point to where the 224 Valkyrie, and you guys could correct me if I'm wrong, but it's almost becoming a joke,
Yeah, I had really high expectations of that 224 Valkyrie when they came out with a kind of started conversation with Air Force Arms because they had brought out pretty much the first rifle that was chambered on that, and it just never seemed to pan out. And I kept on, the same thing with you. I kept on reading through the stories and everything of what was going to happen with that caliber, and it seemed to be kind of like a flash fire kind of deal, and everybody, heard or thought that it was going to, like you said, be a game changer, be the caliber the small caliber that people could use for really long range. And I think that they had the original tests were done on their too good of a condition, and they were able to push it as much as they could because they had the most favorable setup to test it. And once everybody started to get a hold of it, then not everybody was having the same success with it, and even when you might be able to connect with the target at a long range, it just hasn't panned out for everybody. So with the high hopes, it's unfortunate the results.
Right.
Well, even even a 90 grain projectile, when you're talking 800 or 1,000 yards, that's massive. There's no weight to that projectile in comparison to the distance you're shooting. Look at your historically, accurate, consistent, repeatable calibers for shooting long range, right? At 1,000 yards, even those that shoot 308 typically shoot up into the 180s and 190s. If you're talking 300 Win Mag, you're talking up into the 180s and that's nearly twice the projectile weight.
Yeah.
In some cases, it is. I mean, look at and then, you don't have to have, and that may be something with the Valkyrie that they've tweaked on or something. I'm not real sure about the ammo tweaks and some of the other stuff. But I mean, look at something like the people that shoot 405 grain or something, 45-70 at 1,000 yards, and are consistent, and that's slow. That thing is getting slung very, very slow. So maybe they, in order to offset it a little bit, maybe they slowed the speed down some. I don't know.
I think I think that when you have those big, very massive and non-aerodynamic rounds, you need the mass to be able to counteract everything else that can happen with wind changes or whatever. But my understanding of the theory with the smaller round is you have a much better ballistic coefficient. It's sliding through the air easier, and that is supposed to kind of offset not having so much mass. But I don't know.
You're also getting back into the twist rate argument. Is the only way that's going to reach 1,000 yard is if they maximize the twist rate of that. So you're talking about a projectile that seemingly is going to be difficult to touch 1,000 yards under great conditions. I mean, let's just be honest. And now you're having issues with trying to maximize a twist rate that goes with that projectile.
Right.
And like I said, I mean, I'm not dogging it, and I know that people can hit 1,000 yards with a 224 Valkyrie, but hitting 1 out of 10 shots is not good. Is not a very good experiment if you're talking about someone who's trying to get into a relatively inexpensive, relatively smaller diameter, long range projectile, which was supposed to be the game changer, right? That's why this was the game changer. But yet nothing's. That's where I'm at. I'm just frustrated, I guess.
I think that the biggest thing of the game changing factor of it was going to be the price point of buying a 223 or a 224 bullet compared to buying a 308 or a 6.5 Creedmoor or a 270 or all of those different ones, and so it was to some extent going to allow to put that little pellet through not quite but almost any AR upper chambered in that, and be able to make it feasible to 1,000 yards, and it's just not there.
Yeah, use the budget 6.5 Creedmoor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is not only has a 6.5 Creed completely overtaken that 1,000-yard range right now. I mean, that's the projectile that people are wanting, but it's becoming so popular. Even the prices on the 6.5 Creed have dropped to where they're manageable now. So it's like, where does a Valkyrie even sit at this point? You know?
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, remember that's one of the things that they did with the 308 platform. I don't know if you guys were familiar or are familiar with the accelerators.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm talking about? The accelerator.
I still load some even today.
Yeah, it's a sabot that it's chambered, so you get a 308 that pretty much sleeves 223 pellet into the 308, and you're able to shoot that itty bitty pellet at astronomical speeds, and probably with the 224 Valkyrie pellet, you'll probably work really good doing a sabo in the 308 platform.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. The heavier grain, which is a 224 projectile, the heavier grain 224 projectiles do work better if you're building accelerator rounds than 308 or 30-06. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the 30-06. I mean, what did they do to try to squeeze out more speed and everything, more capacity out of it? It became the 270. Because it's the same case, just tapered down a little bit more, so you can enclose that 270 pellet and send it on. But doing that with a reduced case, it just like I said, I was the same thing as Ghost is talking about. Had big hopes for it, and it ended up not becoming what it could have been.
Another thing that I wonder too, when and Jeff mentioned ballistic coefficients and some stuff like that, is I've got to wonder, with on the ammunition side of things, you've got VLD projectiles, very low drag projectiles. Yeah. Those projectiles are more expensive. With the ammunition that's out there, how many of those actually use VLD projectiles? Are they using just standard run of the mill, 224 stuff actually designed for the 223 or the 5.56, not the 224 Valkyrie? So how many people that are complaining or having problems, I guess is what I'm saying, is going the cheap end. And then that begs the question that even if it was popular, would the price on the ammunition ever come down because you're having to use more premium style ammunition?
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing, is you're talking about the cheap end, and that's what they wanted. They wanted it to be an inexpensive 1,000-yard round. But like Clover's saying, is it very well could be a very good 1,000-yard round, but it's not going to be in that inexpensive price range. It's going to be in that premium match grade, long range, ammo, and that stuff's going to be as expensive as a 6.5 Creed.
Going out toward the specialty guy that is going to build a rifle like that, and it's going to do the single stage loading, and they're going to select the most consistent bullet out of the lot, and they're going to go over and weigh the cases and weigh the powder and use the same primer, everything. So you are ending up to the higher side of the value of the ammunition instead of, like you said, the lower kind. The budget shooter is not going to have the success that they're expecting out of a rifle like that.
Yeah, maybe. I'm looking at Federal's 224 Val page, and they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different product options now.
What's the heaviest grain?
90. And the lightest is 60. Wow.
And Clover, you were saying that 90 would be tough. I can't even imagine a 60 even coming close to a 1,000-yard round.
Nope.
60, they're calling that looks like a varmint and predator round.
Yeah,
so
maybe at 300, 400 yards.
yeah, maxing it out probably somewhere in the 500 or 600 yards at the most.
I mean, maxing it out, but effective, it's going to be about 3 to 4.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the gripe I was talking about earlier. It's as if they looked at the 224 projectile market, which pretty much caps out at 90 grain, and they decided to design 1,000 yards around that when they could. I've got in the locker right here beside me, like I said, 100 grain projectiles. So I know it's possible to make them, right? Obviously, it's possible to make anything. People make wildcats and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But why did they decide to settle like that with that? Why didn't they develop their 100 grain, 110, 15 grain, 125 grain, or something like that?
Exactly.
That would be a longer projectile, and it would buck wind weather better because it would be a longer projectile, and then also you've got that length, so you can create that low drag projectile to get it done. And yeah, I mean, it's like they looked at what was out there available supply wise in the market and said, oh, let's build something with just whatever garbage we got instead of coming up with something new and different.
Which is very different than the story that I heard when it came out, was that this was a design from the projectile up. You're describing picking a goal and what projectiles can we throw at it. And what I had heard was that it was a projectile first idea that grew into, what case can we use, to get the most out of it, that kind of thing. So I don't know.
Interesting.
We'll see. But the early results were decent. For the money, Caleb really came back to the idea that for the money, it was, he thought, a very, very good value. Now,
I'm not going to dog the rifle. I don't think there's anything wrong with the rifle. I think that the rifle's probably fine. And I don't think anyone here is going to dog any of the rifles. It's just going to be, can they dial in a decent twist rate? And like you said, the original was 1 in 7, correct? And they sent them a 1 in 6.5. And the 6.5 seemed to work better than the 7. So maybe there's something to that.
Yeah. And as the loads get dialed in, because again, there's a theory that there are new versions of the 224 valve since the early batch that we got for testing. So we'll take it out and look at it again. I'll get some more samples, different types of ammo, newer batches, and take it out and see what we do. But that was the 224 valve. Let's see. Go back to the screen and back to that tab. All right, so we'll look at the next thing that came out this week. We talked about the Arcan Optics, the 224 Val rifle, which they actually call it a PA224. Palmetto, that's how they tend to name their stuff. It's an AR-15, and I think that's the other point that we kind of glossed over, is it's not just that they're trying to make a small frame that'll compete with 6.5 Creedmoor, so you don't have to have the large frame for the AR. But if they get the ammo and twist rate and everything sorted out, maybe that'll work out. We had talk about a nightmare. I think I have to replace the main editing computer here at Gear Report because it gave me fits getting this week's Show Us Your Humvee episode out the door and posted. But I think that's a neat one. We had a little fun in that, and with the kids home, I got my 2 girls involved in that one, doing some neat stuff. So that's yeah. The first one, the one that did the intro was happy to do it. She was excited. The one that did the voiceover work for me was very much in duress at that point. So you can tell.
I could tell.
Yeah. So the other one here that published this morning, Sol Invictus Arms TAC 9. How many of you guys have had your hands on that?
I have.
Yeah. Yeah, they had it.
Yes.
I shot a prototype a couple years ago, 2018. So this first picture up at the top is a prototype from range day in 2018, and then you see down below was the 2019 version. And to be honest, it was a really neat gun that got me excited, and they were talking about sending one to review, and I was really pumped about that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Same
then
here.
once we left SHOT Show, they
disappeared.
disengaged. Yeah, so with that, I
don't even know if they're a working company anymore at this point. I really don't.
They were in trouble with that AA-12.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, they're in Melbourne. They used to be in Melbourne. I don't know.
Yeah. So, well, but you're locked down, so you can't go check on them now, right?
I can do whatever.
Yeah, that'd be good. Next time you're out that direction, if you can figure out if they're still around, that'd be good. I'd still like to get my hands on one. It's a really neat little gun. Shooting it, it was an early prototype that I shot, and it shot reasonably well. I think it had a couple functional issues with it, but it felt pretty good. The model they had on display, we didn't actually shoot them last year. We went to a party they had at their house one evening at SHOT and got to talk to the designers and take a bunch of pictures and everything. And I was so excited, but then nothing. So maybe this will get their attention and they will say, oh yeah, we meant to send them one to review. So
I had shot the TAC-9 and their 10 millimeter pistol,
right.
2019.
I was excited about the 10 millimeter as well.
Yeah. And I liked both of them, and I was in conversation with them. I went to the party, I think we were at the same party. Might have been a different night, though. I'm not sure. I think we went on a different night than you guys.
Yeah.
But anyways, So we talked several times. They were going to send me one. And right before NRAM last year, they had called and said that they weren't able to make it to NRAM, but to make sure I got in touch with them right afterwards. And I said, no problem. And that's the last I've heard from them. I've tried to contact. I haven't tried in a while, but I've probably tried 2 or 3 times after NRAM last year, and I've never heard from them since. So I don't even know what they're doing, if they're doing anything.
Yeah, we'll see. Went ahead and published it. The guys actually.
It's a great gun.
TJ and Toby and Pickle, the camping guy of all people, got together and did that article like late night, stayed up and churned that out for Ammo Land. And we got it over to Duncan, and then Duncan lost it. So it never got published. So a couple times we talked about it and never got it published. So I said, you know what? They went through the effort of writing it. I'm going to publish it. And I think it looks pretty good. It was good. It was good work they did.
Well, if Clover ever gets one, will he call it the Clover TAC-9?
I would.
Oh, yeah.
Know,
yeah, definitely.
I would. If I were him, I would petition them. Maybe we can get a movement going.
I would hope so.
Coat it green and gold.
Yeah, or at least put the shamrock on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Budget said he likes the look of it in the YouTube chat, and it's part of the reason. Seeing how well his article on that X-Star, what is it, EP9? Is that what it is? X-Star EP9. Seeing how well that has done, how much interest that has generated, is a lot of the reason that I went ahead and published this one, because the market likes the cool, different little 9mm semi-auto, AR-ish pistols. I
got a couple coming for you. Hopefully, pretty soon. You're gonna enjoy.
Awesome.
Inner Ordnance. Go look at the Hellfire. That's a sweet looking little gun.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty sweet. I'm looking for it. It's 5.5 inches. It's gonna be pretty sweet.
All right.
Great little CQB gun.
So I think that's the last thing that was published, because I just pushed that this morning. So now let's change gears. We're about halfway through, so time to change gears to reviews that will be published soon. And we'll start that with a little bit of a failure that I had here. Let me take the screen just for a second. I talked a couple weeks ago about this Survival Hawk from SOG. And
That's
one of the
awesome.
neat things, it is, and it's got a little fire starter in the bottom. And it is a very little fire starter now because I broke it. Here's the rest of it. I don't know if this was operator. I don't know if this was operator error or what. I was throwing some glorious sparks with it. So my son was out there holding the camera, and I'm throwing sparks. So I've got some good B-roll to go over the review that I was going to film this evening, and ran out of time. And I'm just going, and then thump. Oh, that broke. So yeah, enough of that. But I threw it a few times. That was kind of neat, and it chops pretty well. So that one's coming.
How's the weight? Is it pretty decently weighted, or is it heavy?
It's on the light side, and that's where he was looking at it, going, "Look at how small the head of that is." And I said, "Well, it's not for splitting logs. This is more of a skull splitter, or nail puller, or throw it at something, and less of a chopping firewood." So yeah.
Well, if it's a survival, it's going to be used as maybe a hatchet. I mean, to clear brush. I mean, it's going to have a lot more uses for it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That it's not necessarily that you're going to be using it as your log splitter, so you can heat up your house or anything like that. It's really just for the small branches and stuff that you might use, so you can hack some wood and make a small brush fire or something, just to heat you up survival wise. So you're not really using for that heavy splitting.
Yep, gotcha. Trying to get the comments to come down here. Well, I guess I'll just read it. To the last one, Budget commented, 9mm PDW guns are in right now.
Yep.
And StreamYard didn't let me get down to that comment to highlight it. I don't know what's up with that. Huh. So, okay, you'll just have to trust me or go look in the comments on YouTube. So what else you guys have that's going to happen soon, that's going to drop soon, that you can tease us about? Anyone?
I've got a couple optics that are coming. I've got a holographic reflex coming. I've got a couple more red dots coming. I've got several guns coming, but who knows? I mean, like I said, I wish I could tell you it's going to be soon. I don't know. It could be next week. It could be 6 weeks from now. So I wish I could tell you when this stuff was going to get here. I think everybody's in that boat at this point,
Yeah. So, all right. Because of that, let's talk about something that showed up today. This is new from AOB, is what? American Outdoor Brands is the big conglomerate that owns Caldwell and Wheeler and Smith & Wesson, except the Smith & Wesson companies and a variety of others. And Lockdown is one of their new brands, and they sent the Puck. The Puck is... I got it out and played with it a little bit today. And this packaging here, if we can, it's getting washed out, isn't it? There we go. Yeah, you probably can't really tell. This shows on this side is an app for the phone, and the other side is some of the things it'll do. So as it comes in the box, it has a door sensor. So the idea is you're going to put it in a safe or a gun room or something. So as a door sensor that will tell you if the door gets opened, and when I say tell you, I mean it can set off an audible alarm and or send a message to your phone as an email or a text or as an alert through the app. So it will monitor a door sensor. It has a humidity sensor. So through this app, you can also get a humidifier that can be controlled. You set up your parameters for when it gets to a certain humidity, the dehumidifier comes on. And then within the area, it will sense vibration. So that's another security feature. So And it'll run off of batteries. It runs off of a micro USB. So, you know, motion, door sensor, humidity, basically. And, you know, I think that's kind of neat. Here's what it looks like in actuality. And it's kind of cool that they've got this mounting bracket. If I can get it off of here, there we go. They got their logo in everything. So there's their little L lockdown logo, and they've got screws that you mount that to the wall, and then slots on the back where you can just drop it in and lock it in place. And then I don't know, can we get close enough to see where it says lockdown there? That shows that it's actually like a little screen. It looks like just a sticker or something, but it's not. If I could hold it perfectly still, that'd go off in a couple seconds. And green, you know, means it's not armed. When you arm the system, that'll turn red. And whenever you get motion or something that turns it on, it lights it up. Oh, that's neat. So let me get in front of the camera. If I can. Boy, that hand is uncoordinated.
What are you doing over there?
Oh, look at that. When you turn it, see how the logo changes where it is?
The logo chases the bottom corner.
Yeah, kind of neat.
Hey,
So,
I mean, it really sounds like a really good tool. So you can add to your safe if it's not an intelligent safe, if you want to put it that way, and add that capability for monitoring the humidity and more safety features to it.
yeah, absolutely. So you can see where I was just messing with it. I got an alert here on this side. That one is for motion. So it sensed motion within the area. Yeah, pretty neat. You see it's 39% humidity and 82 degrees in my office. So I try to keep it tropical.
You got the share for it today.
Yeah. So anyhow, that just showed up today, and I hooked it up and have been playing with it a little bit. We'll give it a week or 3 to see how it does.
What's the radius that it can detect motion? Do you know?
I think that it's not detecting motion like what we call a motion detector that has like a visual something. I don't even know how they work. It is a vibration detector. So
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So that's how it labels it as motion, is when it picks up vibration.
Okay.
That'd be still neat.
Yeah. Door sensor, humidity, vibration, an alarm, temperature, and battery. So yeah, neat. I think AJ is getting one to look at. And it was neat that this is a test batch that when you open it up, there's a card in it from the marketing manager saying, you know, please go fill out this survey. And if you have any questions, you know, her name's on here for the brand coordinator to. I'd not worked with a brand that actually sent out a little printed card like that to all the people who got the first batch. So I'm like a beta tester. So not being paid like a beta tester would be paid. I'm a free beta tester, apparently.
Yeah.
And Toby was excited about this and wanted to get in on it. But then he found out that they don't really have any other intelligence built into the system yet. And he's a big smart home, integrated control everything kind of person. So, you know, when it didn't have all that other stuff, he said, yeah, never mind.
Yeah, I think that's probably something.
Years.
Yeah, it's probably something really good that you can put on the door of your safe. Like I said, a non-intelligent safe that is going to add, you know, catch the vibration, catch the motions that you might be doing with it. So.
Yeah, I'm excited about the humidity measure because I had an issue for a brief period about 1.5 years ago where the humidity and temperature were wrong combination. I had a little bit of corrosion issues on a gun or two, so it'd be nice to be able to monitor that and know when I need to do something.
Yeah, I have the salt issue down here. Everything rusts.
Yeah.
Salt air, gotta love it.
Yeah. Oh, and I was going to show you guys. There was a little mug in there. Let's see if we start on this side. You can read lockdown. All right. Now I asked my 14, about to turn 15-year-old, about the other side. I showed it to her, and she looked like she wanted to laugh, and then she was afraid to laugh. And then she looked at me like, all right, you're messing with me, because I was just deadpanning it, okay?
Get pucked.
Get pucked, it says, because this is the puck. And I was like, what's funny? What's funny about that? And you're an adult, you know what's funny. So, all right. Yeah. All right, what other interesting things we have to talk about? Upcoming reviews. TJ. I told you about something that hopefully that ships here shortly.
The
We go,
Coca-Cola?
yeah, so if we
Yeah.
go back to the Gear Report page,
Oh, I will test that thing out.
yeah, the banner at the top here for blue coolers. If they are to be trusted, a 55-quart blue cooler will be on the way to Florida soon for TJ to beat up.
I bought 6 cases of Corona to put in it.
All right,
I'm ready.
good. And you didn't tell me if you I copied you on that email, right? So
Yeah.
if you'd prefer to test the version with wheels, then reply to that email and say if it's an option, I think it would be more valuable to our audience if we look at the one with wheels.
Okay. I think the regular one would be fine. Wheels are. I could always throw it behind my trike and drive to the beach with it and see.
Yeah, the tactical trike with a blue cooler behind
Trike.
it.
There it is.
I mean, why
I'm
wouldn't
painting
you?
it tomorrow.
You'd be the bomb right there. That'd be
Painting
awesome.
tomorrow.
But
Yeah.
you got to be kitted up when you're riding that thing.
I got my Hawaiian shirt. I'm good to go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
So speaking of kitted up, so this is the Javelin Concepts. It's there. I should have looked up. I can't remember what the name of it is, but I can tell you the big deal with it. Let me get my tactical TP out of the way.
Tease
So
us
we
with
can
the toilet
see.
paper.
Yep. Hey, I got to flaunt it, So this is the thing with theirs is this cummerbund. It unvelcros all the way around just like this and comes off. So it's a panel that comes off and it has Molly all over it. So you've got your plate carrier, and then you can get multiple of these if you have different functions. So you set it up for whatever you're going to be doing, and then we're doing a different mission today. You rip that cummerbund piece off, set it down, grab your other one that's configured for what you're doing today, slap that one on. Instead of having multiple carriers so you can have them kitted for different missions. So I thought that was kind of neat. And yeah, so I've been trying to wear it around the house. Honestly, the way things are going in the world, I think it's freaking the neighbors out a little bit. But I hadn't put the machine gun on the Humvee lately, so
Jeff, I would
think-
imagine that's not the first time you freaked your neighbors out. Just saying.
Yeah, I think you're
They
right.
probably think it's just another Friday for up there.
Yep. Yeah.
Usually just about every time that we will go to the shooting range to test something out, or just for that we're going to go practice or do whatever, every single time we start loading the Humvee with all the rifle cases and ammo cases and everything, we always wonder, it's like, I wonder if the neighbors are paying attention.
They were.
I
They
guarantee
they are.
Up. They were ready.
I guarantee you they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
The ones next door in particular, she doesn't miss anything. So I try to give them, if they're going to spend all that time watching, I try to do stuff worth watching.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. So let's see, what else can we talk about? I don't know that I want to tease the other stuff yet, because it's always dangerous. Like showing the cooler. Well, what if that doesn't happen? So I don't want to get people's hopes up.
Well, then you've got a record here of companies that stood you up.
That's true.
Right? We do that. Yeah. Yeah, but if they're good companies and maybe they have a reason. So here's the thing. I'll disclose a couple things, but I'll say up front that as crazy as the world is right now, if anything doesn't happen that we're thinking is going to happen, I'm not going to hold it against the brand because it's just a jacked up world right now, you know? And I have had times where I've gotten pretty upset when, like, I had ammo shipped from 2 manufacturers to TJ in Florida to test a 9mm AR from Bear Creek Arsenal, and they never sent it. And it wasn't like I asked for it. They reached out to me, can you please do this? And well, okay, I can't, but TJ can do it. And I went and arranged for the brands to send him ammo, and then the guns never showed up. So that's just one of the reasons I think Bear Creek Arsenal are, there are good people that work there, but the people who run it are scumbags, pretty much. Yeah. I like to pause for dramatic effect sometimes. So that's what that was.
Yeah.
But
that's one of the brands that we thought that we were going to have a good working relationship with, especially after the time that we were able to tour the facility and hang out with them. So definitely what you're mentioning, that they have some good people that work there. But
the middle managers, the worker bees and the middle managers were awesome.
Yeah.
The executives, the family that owns the company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sadness.
But so Clover and I have been talking about another company that I think is probably more reliable. I don't think that they're going to stand us up. That Henry offered a couple rifles, and what did we decide on? Clover, is the 3030s going your way?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really nice Woodstock lever gun in 3030 with a blue steel. That is a sharp looking rifle. So I don't know what kind of timetable that's on to get there, but he said he's looking to push those right away. So I expect that'll show up pretty soon.
My experience is they move pretty quick.
Yeah.
Now, again, we caveat that by saying times are a little bit different now than they have been in the past, but in the past they've always moved really quick. So.
Right. And so with the 3030 going that way, the 45 Colt will come here, and that's what's it called? Big Boy All Weather, something like that. So I'm looking forward to that. I've never shot, a pistol caliber lever gun like that. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to have to go get dies for it because I think getting 45 Colt or 45 long Colt is going to be a pain. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm pretty excited about that one.
45 Colt is actually correct.
Mm-hmm. Well, I did a little bit of research, and some people who claim to be experts talk about, back in the mid-late 1800s, there was a 45 short Colt, 45 long Colt, and then when the short went away, it just became 45 Colt. But what we have today as 45 Colt was at one time called the 45 long Colt. So I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I read. So
that sounds good. I have no idea.
Yeah, if I say it with authority, maybe it'll mean something. I don't know, but I do like to kind of caveat, if I don't know, I'm not going to act like I know. Henry is super. All right, that's good to know.
So I take it from that rifle, the handgun caliber or the pistol caliber on that rifle. When you mentioned the 45, I started thinking of the 45-70, which is the old Buffalo ammo. There's like the big long,
the lipstick tube.
Yeah, exactly. The straight wall, heavy caliber that they used back in the West.
Still one of my favorite calibers to shoot too.
Right. Yeah, I was actually a little disappointed that wasn't one that they asked us if we could look at in this go round. So maybe later, but I've never had a 45 Colt. Haven't had a 45-70 either. Yep.
Wow.
That's too Bud Life.
Telling you.
Yeah, You know. What other fun stuff we want to talk about?
I don't know. I hate to throw out much because depending on the rain and everything holding me back from testing this or testing that, I hope to get a couple of reviews finished up this weekend and in the queue for sometime next week. But one thing I haven't started on yet, and I don't know if I've mentioned it on one of these previous chats, was I've got a 16-inch Heritage Rough Rider revolver. So have not even, I've taken it out of the box. Actually, when I got it I took it out of the box and gave it to my wife and told her it was her new concealed carry.
Right.
But
So does it look like you're holding a fishing rod?
it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to get it out on the range and shoot it. It's definitely not balanced well or anything like that. So
Right.
it's going to be interesting. I think it's one of those that's going to fall under the this is cool, novelty, for what I mean. It's a Heritage Rough Rider for so what, $175 maybe $200 range, cheap. If anybody, a lot of people out there's had experience with those little Heritage revolvers, and for the money, I mean they're really good quality and great to play around with. But usually it ends there. So I'll do a little bit of accuracy stuff. Obviously, it's going to pretty much eat any ammo you run through it, being a revolver. But
Right.
yeah, gonna get a feel for what it's like to try to shoot a revolver with a 16-inch barrel. That's kind of going to be interesting.
Yeah, you're going to be able to change the pistol grips on it and put the stock attachment and make you a little rifle out of it.
They've got those.
I know that they do.
That's called the Rancher, and so it would be nice to get my hands on one of those. And I don't know, maybe they're listening.
Yeah,
do a little comparison,
right?
Yeah, see how accurate you can be with just using it as pistol, and then what's the difference it is when you put a stock to it.
Right. It's going to be a lot. I can tell you that. I'm gonna shoot the pistol. Or the revolver rather. I'll shoot it, do a little bit of accuracy stuff, from a rest, and try to steady it up as much as possible. But yeah, just offhand, I think it's gonna be interesting.
Right. It's a funky looking gun. If nothing else, it'll give you some really cool photo and video opportunities.
Yeah. Right.
You gonna one hand that thing?
Oh my goodness.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Why not?
That's what I'm talking about.
that looks like something that like Penguin would shoot, or the Joker or something.
Yes.
It literally looks like one of those guns that the rod comes out the end with the flag that says "bang." I mean,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? That it like it's not really a barrel. A little flag rolls out of it when you pull the trigger.
I think
Right.
on those, I think on those, the barrel actually folds, and then whenever it opens up, when you press the release the trigger, or you pull the trigger, then the barrel opens up in half, like a hinge, and then the flag unrolls down, something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that could be. That could be. I might. That's an idea though. With that, might try to. I don't know. Might try to incorporate some of that into the video and all, just for fun. That could be neat.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to update everyone who earlier in the discussion it was mentioned that that Clover's wife was braving the store. And she has reported in that she survived the grocery store, so we can all rest easy.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There you go.
And now Clover can eat.
Salad tonight. We're having salad tonight. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Rabid food.
Yeah, I've been doing.
It looks like Reed joined us.
For the past month, I'm the one who's been doing the shopping at the house. So I pick a day that and time that I think that the store's not going to have as many people, and then I go over and buy as quick and efficient as possible and jet out. But man,
That's got to be weird for you.
Yeah,
because you've been a go out to bring home fast food or whatever every meal for as long as I've known you.
Not quite, but yes. Yeah. So yeah, pretty much every week we go over and we still have a day where we'll go to Chick-fil-A and buy some sandwiches, or we'll order a pizza. Other than
Yeah.
that, all of the meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we've been doing it here at the house. So it's been interesting. The interesting part is also looking at all the crazy people with the gloves and the mask and the hair, some kind of hair um, cover or yeah,
It's called a hat, dude. It's called a
no
hat.
no
A hairnet.
these people.
A hairnet.
Have you not seen the pictures of the
Shower
people that grab a bag
Yeah.
from the store and put it on top of them and they tie it so their hair is kind of covered up and man, there's some crazy stuff out there. Yeah.
It's a freak show down here in Florida.
Oh, I can
Yeah.
imagine. I can imagine.
Methamphetamine's a hell of a drug. Just so we're clear.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So Reed, you joined us, but I see that you let us down this week. You had the Hawaiian shirt last week, so I broke out one of my Hawaiian shirts and kitted up,
Oh man, why didn't I
just so
think of
you
that?
wouldn't be the only one.
Next
and
time
then
I
you
won't
didn't
do it
do
for the boog.
I think we have
Yeah.
maybe
Oh,
next week we need to do an all kitted show next week.
I got you. Okay.
There you go.
I got one on you. Okay, hold on a second.
You gotta give him some
carries a
music.
Hawaiian shirt with him.
You gotta give him some music. He's getting all dressed out. Na 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 na. Na, na, na.
There you go.
No,
That doesn't
dude.
mean like Kit from Knight Rider, TJ. Just
Hey,
saying.
this is a flight suit, so you guys can read them and weep.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it off before I'm impersonating a police officer.
Oh, yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah, it's my old SWAT outfit. I now use it for a welding outfit.
It's funny. That's what I do. I have because I was in the Air Force, and I've got half of one end of my closet's got a bunch of flight suits, and they just hung there for years. And then it's like, hey, Nomex, I can weld in this.
Exactly. Don't let any lag fall on it though; it'll burn a hole right through it, and you're not invincible.
Yeah.
I found that out the hard way today. I had a piece of lag fall on top of me. I didn't know it was there because obviously I'm all masked up, and it landed right on my leg, and it sat there and just cooked right through that Nomex and landed on my car. Woo! Son,
my
I was
goodness.
dancing. But I did manage to get
TJ.
a couple of the things I was telling you that I was doing done.
Yeah.
Those tie rod ends I was working on, I ended up cutting those, sleeving them, and shortening for the correct lengths for the new drag link setup. And
Nice.
man, it really came together really nice. And I still got one more thing I wasn't happy with. The Pitman arm is weaker than I wanted it to be. I mean, it's strong still. It's way stronger than it initially was. But the angle and of the Heim to the actual drag link is more drastic than I wanted it to be. So I'm going to take the advantage of it, and I'm going to go up to a 7/8 size Heim instead of a 5/8, and it'll be short of the gearbox going kaboom. It'll be a bomb-proof steering setup.
Right.
But I did get my skid plates, my front skid plate welded up, and my front skid plate installed. But I've still got to do a little more fab work not really fab work. It's more just drilling to the rest of the mounting brackets for the underneath of my truck before I can actually put the rest of the kit on there. But getting there, baby steps.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that
So-
skid plate. I saw the prototype that you had posted, but
Right
yeah,
now, it's all
that looks like it's a little higher.
it's redirect everything from somewhere else, so I won't have to eat up all this. There was wires and stuff from my winch that were tucked up in here, and then you have your lower core support right here that your differential mounts into. Well, I was smashing that up really good when I'd hit a rock that I couldn't quite see. So this gives me something to slide it on instead of having to hit some really important stuff. Needless to say.
Right.
I still got to do a little bit more armoring up there, but I'm pleased with the way it turned out. But now I'm just bleeding out the steering system. That's what I was doing a minute ago when y'all were making fun of my shirt. But I've got the steering's working and everything, but I just don't have the power that's supposed to be there. So I'm bleeding the system, hopefully, and that's going to bring it out. And then she'll be ready to hit the trail again, hopefully tonight or tomorrow.
Awesome. Oh, look at that. People with their mask and gloves still touching their face. So, and I wanted to mention this just because I think it's hilarious. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the memes going around with like people with gloves on and holding the shopping cart, eating a bag of Cheetos or something. It's like, why'd you put the gloves on?
Oh yeah, those are great.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, hey, genius! Just so you know, the stuff is still on the gloves. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you're just literally ingesting it on purpose.
Yeah, no, but they say that if you swallow it and it goes to the stomach, then the bugs get eaten up by the acid in it, so it won't affect you.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Okay,
Yeah.
Sure.
Awesome.
If you say so.
I'm gonna go try that out and be right back.
Yeah.
I keep a cup of COVID-19 in my fridge. I'm gonna go test it and see if it affects.
Yeah, it just.
You pour Coca-Cola on it.
Did the doctors release that that's the way you should eat your food? You could dip it in COVID-19 and you'd be fine.
If you pour Coca-Cola on it, Coca-Cola eats through anything, so it should beat the COVID-19.
Or Windex. Windex will take care of it.
Windex. That's right. WD-40 maybe.
Spray down with Windex. It's all good.
If it's ammonia free, does that count?
Probably. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, I would think so.
Okay, so we're clear.
All right. Anyone have any?
Jeff, that message you sent me about the long range shooting. I ordered a 300 Win Mag from Savage Arms today.
Neat.
And a case of 300 Win Mag ammo. 190 grain, not the maximum amount, but the 190 has the best terminal ballistics as far as distance and pounds per square inch of impact. So it's like 190 grain with a 300 Win Mag, like something over 950 yards, has 1,000 foot-pounds of impact.
Yeah.
At 960 yards. That's impressive.
That'll stop you.
And you're talking about a weapon that can put that has a 25-inch drop from 100 yards zero to 1,000 yards, 25 inches. That is a flat trajectory. That is really impressive. So that's why I'm really excited about that gun, and just the affordability of it. That Savage was only, I got the one that had a different color on it, and apparently that's worth more than $20 more. So it cost me $688 plus tax.
Wow.
And I'd say so. And they're claiming there's a couple of reviews on it from some buyers. I don't know how legitimate it is, but one guy said he was holding half-inch groups at 100 with it. So that's good enough for me.
Yeah. Awesome. We'll look forward to seeing how that works out for you. And so since we're talking about speculative, what could happen in the future, I actually took a picture of a rifle at Shot Range Day. It was down towards the bottom. It's like it's a 50 BMG that was a little bit shorter overall, kind of compact. It was it Campbell? What's the brand called? Something Campbell Manufacturing, something like that. And I posted a picture of it, and one of the guys at the company follows Gear Report, and he saw it, sent me a note, said, "Hey, when this is over, we need to get the rifle review." So that's what we were talking about. And when he called me today, he said, "Yeah, sorry, I've been kind of hard to get a hold of, but we just bought, is it called Shytac?
Shytac.
Yeah, we just bought them, so we've been busy dealing with all of the stuff, that comes with moving their manufacturing to the home office, I guess, something like that." So
Shytac's a great company, man.
Yeah, so he said we're going to check in about a month, and see where they are, where we are, and maybe things will be good, and we can get a rifle headed out to do a quick review on. We just have to hope that we're not in the midst of a civil war or complete anarchy at that point.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
If we are, that 50 B&G would help out.
Oh, I was thinking the same thing. Pretty much any vehicle that decides to come our way, we can handle the business.
Yeah.
Reach out and touch something.
You people, a lot of times you see people freaking out about all these law enforcement vehicles and how they're armored and everything. Well, I've been in those law enforcement vehicles, and they're nice and everything, but most of them aren't rated for anything higher than small arms fire.
Yeah.
So you're not talking about something that can handle an IED, even though it's built in much the same way. A 50 B&G will do quite the number on one of those.
Yeah.
Okay, in case anyone was wondering, no one here is condoning shooting law enforcement vehicles.
Correct.
This was a
I'm just saying
purely
it's nothing to be
scientific
afraid
discussion.
of.
Yeah.
It's nothing to be afraid of, and it's really just for protection of the officers, and they're blowing it at out of proportion. But it's not. It's a weapon system that can do just about whatever if the operator knows how to use it. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about it, unfortunately. But the reality of things is that the whole point of saying that was that the military, they're not, as much as it does appear militaristic, they're not buying tanks, and they're not buying things that are going to literally be like something you take to war against the U.S. citizens. It's just not. It's a silly argument. It's people who don't understand what's actually going on behind the scenes, and they don't understand what kind of threat that these people face on a regular basis. And it's not necessarily the fact that they may actually encounter a threat. It's just to prevent the loss of life for everyone, because we protect the people we're helping out as much as we do the officers themselves. So,
All right, gang. Anyone else have? Anyone plan on shooting this week? Anyone plan on doing anything cool?
If it stops raining.
Yep. Only weather's the only thing that pretty much keeps me from shooting every day. So yeah.
Unfortunately, it's supposed to rain here the next 8 days.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
I'm glad the weather's nice down here for a change. For a while there, it was like we're just swimming. It was raining so much that you couldn't go anywhere without being a couple inches in water. And now it's dry and warm, and it's nice.
Yeah. So here in Carolina,
if I get the Ark built in time, I can do a review of that for you.
That would be awesome.
And are you going to carry, firearms 2x2 into your Ark?
2x2. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's good.
Left and right hand.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. So I'm debating maybe tomorrow. I got to see what the weather looks like. It's going to be tomorrow and Sunday. I don't think we're looking to get rain here in Carolina. If we're going to get a little bit of wind, I may be back at the lake sailing again. We'll have to see. After, yeah, I did this last time because the prior week I didn't, and I had let's just say I toasted my scalp last week.
You look like a walking stoplight.
Yeah. So I kept the hat on last week, and it stayed on even when I tipped the boat over. So that was good. But,
you get one of those neoprene caps or whatever they are. They're not neoprene. I think they're like nylon, really, polyester mix, but they're super lightweight and water friendly. They get wet and dry real quick.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I have, and it worked pretty well. And I broke last year's top speed record for the Hobie 16. So that meant that today, when the wind was actually probably too strong, it was forecast to be 20 or 25 mile an hour. I had the sense to stay home and work instead of going, because had I not got the speed I wanted last weekend, I'd have probably been out there today, and who knows what would have happened.
So what's the new speed record? 6 knots?
20.25 miles an hour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 17.6 knots. single-handed on a Hobie 16.
Oh, single-handed, really? That's
That
really
could be a little scary, man.
It could be
It
interesting.
was, yeah, because I'm not
We
that
probably hiked
confident.
out pretty good at that speed.
Oh yeah,
But that was awesome.
definitely. And there were a couple times that I was out as far as I could go, hiked out on the trapeze, and I still thought it was going over. Like,
Oh yeah.
not even sure how I kept it from flipping.
Yeah.
And then when I got the speed run I wanted, I looked at the GPS and was like, oh yeah, that's good enough. I can go in. And I'm doing the slow cruise back to the dock. I'm still going 10, 11 knots as I'm trying to just kind of gently cruise back to the dock. I'm still smoking along. And next thing you know, the wind shifted and I flipped over. And it was like, all of the crap I did out here, 13 miles of speed runs, and I kept it upright. And then when I'm just casually coasting back to the dock, it flipped it over. So,
Well, you had to give the people at the dock, I think, something to laugh at, so you're just there for entertainment.
So you would appreciate this. Where I was doing
Sure I
speed
would.
runs, I was coming up against 2 holes on the golf course. So 2 little peninsulas that stick out. I was, depending on how the wind shifted, I'd either be pointed at one or the other. So every time when I headed south, and I'm headed right at the hole for the golf course, and the people up there not social distancing, but just playing golf like normal. They're watching, and every time when I come back, it'd been long enough. It's a new group, so I could see them rooting for me, like flip, and nothing until I relax and just start to head back. I was right at the point where that second hole is, and went over. And I look up, like I hit the water and I pop up, and the first thing I see when I look up is the guy standing on the green pointing and laughing. I'm like, all right. No, I'm fine. Really. Don't worry about me. Yeah.
Yeah, come on out here and you try it, buddy.
You should
Yeah.
have
Like
yelled,
it on
"Hey,
the
are you
line,
putting for double?" That would have made them laugh.
Yeah. I don't understand that. Well, and
Yeah,
I didn't
they
want
would
to.
have.
I didn't want to get anyone agitated and make them spill their beer or something. So
yeah, don't mess with the beer, okay? You can't mess with the beer.
Yep. All right, guys.
Well,
if we're out of stuff to talk about, let's go ahead and shut her down. And I will do my best to remember to send the invitation before the show starts next Friday. So sorry about that. Thanks for the folks following along. That Guy's Wife Media. I see nobody tried to hit me with a golf ball. I think, Buck, I think they probably were trying, but I was hauling ass. They weren't. If they hit me, it'd have been like, yep, you earned it. Like, I'm not even mad. Good shot. Yeah. So I appreciate Buck and our Mintia and Budget and anyone else who was out there. I saw some other people earlier. I think that's all that I see left in the comments lately. Andrew Faulkner. All right. Yeah, I missed when he came in. All right. Well, between now and then, let me know if you have any other cool opportunities or thoughts pop up. Hope everyone stays safe. And until next time. We'll
Hey,
see you at the
sorry I
range.
was late. I had a a bit of a query going on behind me. I didn't realize what time it was. So
Hey, I sent out the invitation to the show 36 seconds before the show started. So I can't say anything. but thanks for being here. We appreciate you.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I
checking
look
in.
forward to the next time.
Yeah, with that,
Deal.
we'll see you at the range.
See you guys.